2026 is the year of agents.
The agents,
It's an agent application.
multiple agents in parallel.
And this is what an agent.
At home, you're going to have agents.
This is an agent.
All of those agents.
A agent.
Agentic AI. AI agents, every tech CEO on the planet is talking about them right now. Meet ESP-CLAW. This is an on-device AI agent that literally programs itself, controls hardware, and debugs its own code, all through a simple Telegram chat interface. Let's get it flashed and running on an ESP32S3. The setup process is surprisingly straightforward. Grab a standard USB data cable and connect your ESP32S3 board to your computer. Next, visit ESP-CLAW.com using either Chrome or Edge, as Firefox isn't supported for web flashing just yet. Click on the Flash Online button, hit connect, and select your board from the target list. Now, choose the correct board type, keep the rest of the settings exactly as they are, and click Flash Firmware. It will take about a minute to complete the flashing process. Once it's done, enter your local Wi-Fi details so the board can get online. After a successful connection, you will be prompted with a local web page address to continue the configuration. Just head over to that local URL. Next up is the large language model configuration. Because ESP-CLAW functions by autonomously combining complex tools and writing its own local scripts, it absolutely requires a back-end model with strong reasoning capabilities. I am using Anthropic's Claude API for this setup, but it also natively supports OpenAI, Qwen, and DeepSeek. To handle our messaging interface, we need to paste in a custom Telegram bot token. To get one, just visit BotFather on Telegram, send /start, then /newbot, and provide a name. I'm using ESP_claw_bot for both the display name and the username. Copy the generated token and paste it right into the setup page. Finally, to give our agent the ability to pull real-time internet data and live weather info, we will grab a free API key from the Tavily dashboard and paste it right here. Now click Save and Finish. We are officially ready to open our Telegram bot. Just click the redirect link and it will take you straight to the chat. Once you send the start command, the agent wakes up. Oops, looks like I've completely exhausted my credit balance on the Anthropic API. Let me quickly jump into my console and add a few more credits. Okay, now that we're topped up, once you send that start command, the agent successfully wakes up, initializes, and displays its entire on-device skill tree. We can see everything from GPIO control and file system management to local Lua scripting and runtime memory updates. Let's put it to work with some actual hardware. If you look at the block diagram of the ESP32S3, there's an onboard addressable RGB LED. According to the standard schematics, it's tied to GPIO 38. So I'm going to ask the bot to flash a continuous loop of red, green, and blue on an addressable LED strip connected to GPIO 38 with a 100 millisecond delay. Watch what happens in the chat window. The bot enters a multi-round processing phase called a snap. In the background, it automatically inspects the board's hardware inventory, pulls the required built-in Lua modules, actually writes a custom Lua script directly to the board's flash file system, and executes it as an asynchronous background job. Wait, the LED isn't glowing. Let's look closer. Looking at the hardware revision history, the main difference between version 1.0 and version 1.1 of this dev kit is the GPIO assignment for the RGB LED. The initial board uses GPIO 48, whereas the newer revision uses GPIO 38. Our board happens to be a initial release version 1.0. So let's just ask the bot to fix it. Sorry, can you change that GPIO to 48? Without needing to open an IDE, modify code manually, compile, or re-upload, the agent entirely understands the context. It smoothly stops the active background job, overwrites the script file with the updated parameters, and restarts the loop. And holla, now the LED actually glows exactly the way we wanted it to. Let's ask it to change the delay to 1000 milliseconds. The LEDs immediately adapt to the new timing and pin configuration. I actually have a capacitive soil moisture sensor and an old 0.96-inch OLED display lying around from a past project, so let's see if we can build something cool using them. Moving on to the soil moisture sensor, I have wired up its analog output to GPIO 14. When I ask the agent to read the data, it instantly writes a quick reading script and returns a clean data table showing the exact raw voltage and a calculated moisture level of 32%. But here's the problem. The sensor is currently just sitting completely bare in the open air, so that moisture reading should realistically be 0%. I am going to tell the bot exactly that. The agent doesn't just read raw numbers blindly, it understands physical context. It immediately recognizes that the calibration baseline is off, updates its internal memory to recalibrate the current air voltage to represent 0% moisture, and then proactively asks me to dip the sensor in a glass of water so it can log in the wet reference voltage as well. After placing it in water and requesting another read, the calibration is fully complete. The AI completely adjusted the scaling math on its own to match my exact hardware setup. Now let's add that 0.96-inch I2C OLED display to show this live moisture data. If you don't know which pins to use, you don't even have to look up the data sheet. Just ask the bot. The agent scans its active hardware inventory, notices which pins are already occupied by our LEDs and moisture sensor, and recommends using GPIO 8 and 9 for the I2C bus. It even throws in a crucial safety warning to power the display using the 3.3 volt rail instead of 5 volts to avoid damaging the display. Once it's wired up, I will command it to print the soil moisture percentage in large, bold letters right in the middle of the screen, updating every 1000 milliseconds. It instantly pulls the SSD 1306 device libraries, builds the display script, and the live data pops up on the screen. The soil moisture percentage updates live broadcast on the screen. When I lift the sensor out of the water, the value decreases. However, it still shows 3% because there are small water droplets remaining on the sensor. If I dip the sensor back into the water, the value updates again. However, looking at the display through the camera lens, there's a bad rolling flicker and tearing effect, making it hard to film cleanly. Let's see if a non-human engineer can fix a purely visual hardware bug. I will just text the bot saying the screen looks strange on video. The agent diagnostic kicks in. It stops the active job, analyzes how the display library functions, and rewrites the code with two major optimization fixes. It cranks the hardware contrast register to maximum to stabilize the pixels against the camera shutter, and it modifies the script to only refresh the display when the moisture value actually changes. It even gives me a quick tip on matching my camera's shutter speed to the display frequency. I tried filming at 60 and 120 frames per second, but dropping the camera down to 24 fps gave me the absolute cleanest, most stable shot. Just like that, the screen is perfectly stable and crisp on camera. Now, look at our bench right here. We've managed to hook up an analog sensor, an LED array, and an I2C display all onto a single development board. It's an incredible prototype, but taking a complex setup like this from a messy breadboard to a reliable commercial hardware product requires a completely different level of engineering. Designing a board this big, managing high speed display signals, RF antennas, and complex power paths requires professional standards. When you're designing boards of this complexity, you need an ECAD tool that manages the entire life cycle of the project. In a professional workflow today, we rely on capabilities like version control to track every design iteration and design reuse to speed up the development of complex motor drivers. We need real time collaboration so mechanical and electrical engineers can work on the same chassis simultaneously, and rule driven checks to ensure the board is electrically sound before it ever goes to fabrication. If you're a student or an aspiring engineer watching this, you don't have to wait to get into the industry to learn these standards. I highly recommend checking out Altium Student Labs. It's an incredible resource where you can enroll for free to master these professional outcomes like DFM checks and supply chain risk visibility. These are the skills that separate a hobbyist from a professional innovator. You can find the link to enroll in Altium Student Labs for free in the description below. When you look back at everything running on this tiny hardware setup, the potential is massive. We have a multi-threaded, self-programming, hardware-aware AI assistant running entirely on a cheap, low-power microcontroller. It manages background tasks, handles live calibrations, writes its own software, and fixes its own UI layout bugs based on casual human conversation. The era of writing tedious boilerplate code just to read a sensor or run a display is officially changing. If you want to build your own autonomous hardware agent, all the documentation links are down below. Let me know in the comments what sensors you would hook up to this thing. I will catch you in the next video.